It was 3 in the morning when Sarah's phone lit up with a notification from her smart home system. The front door camera showed her husband Mark walking in with another woman. They were laughing quietly, his hand on her lower back. Sarah sat up in bed, heart pounding, and watched the footage in real time as they headed straight for the living room couch. The AI voice assistant even greeted them by name. She froze. Everything she thought she knew about her marriage shattered in those 30 seconds. Welcome to Revenge Served, where we tell the raw, real stories of betrayal and the satisfying karma that follows. These are the moments when trust breaks and justice finds its way back. Sarah and Mark had been married for 8 years. They lived in a nice suburban house outside Chicago. Mark worked as a sales manager and traveled a lot for work. Sarah stayed home and ran a small graphic design business. They had the latest smart home set up. Ring cameras at every entrance, motion sensors inside, voice assistants in every room, and even AI-powered security that learned their routines. At first, it felt safe. Mark loved showing off the new tech to friends. He said it made their home smarter and protected them. Sarah trusted him completely. She never checked the cameras unless she was away on a trip. But small things started to feel off in early 2026. Mark came home later than usual from supposed client dinners. His phone stayed face down more often. He got defensive when Sarah asked simple questions about his day. She brushed it off as work stress. One night in February, Sarah woke up to a strange alert. The system said motion detected in the garage at 2:47 a.m. Mark was supposed to be in Detroit for an overnight meeting. She opened the app and saw him pulling in alone. He looked around carefully before going inside. Nothing seemed wrong at first, but the next morning, she noticed the passenger seat in his car looked used. Sarah decided to test the system. She set a new rule in the AI security app. It would now send her a private summary every time someone entered the house when she was asleep. The AI learned voices, faces, and patterns. It even flagged unusual behavior. A week later, the alert came again. This time, the footage was clear. Mark walked through the front door at 1:15 a.m. with a woman Sarah had never seen before. They kissed, right there, in the hallway. The smart lights turned on automatically to a soft glow, just like Mark always set them. The AI assistant said, "Welcome home, Mark." It even suggested playing their usual relaxing playlist. Sarah felt sick. She saved every clip. She watched them move to the couch, then upstairs. The cameras caught everything in high definition. The woman's laugh echoed through the speakers. Mark whispered things Sarah thought he only said to her. She did not scream. She did not confront him that night. Instead, she stayed calm and started planning. She spent the next few days quietly gathering more proof. She pulled location data from the shared family account. She checked credit card statements the AI finance tool had flagged for unusual patterns, late-night Ubers, hotel charges he tried to hide as business expenses, restaurant bills for two. Mark had no idea the house was now fully recording him. The 2026 smart home update made the system smarter than ever. It could recognize faces, match voices, and even detect emotional tone in conversations. Sarah turned every device into a silent witness. She discovered the affair had been going on for 4 months. The woman was a colleague from his sales team. They met during his so-called business trips. Sometimes she came to the house when Sarah visited her sister in another state. Sarah felt rage, but she channeled it. She hired a lawyer quietly. She copied every video, every audio clip, every digital footprint. She even used a new AI analysis tool to organize the timeline perfectly: dates, times, locations, exact words spoken on camera. Then she waited for the perfect moment. It came 2 weeks later. Mark told her he had another overnight trip to Detroit. Sarah smiled and said she would miss him. As soon as his car left the driveway, she activated the full smart home lockdown mode. All doors locked from the app. Cameras switched to high-resolution recording. The AI assistant was set to record every sound. Mark came back that same night with the woman. They walked in laughing, thinking the house was empty. The lights came on softly. The playlist started. They headed upstairs. Sarah was not in the house. She was at a friend's place across town, watching everything live on her tablet. She let them get comfortable. Then she hit record. On a second layer, she started a live stream to a private group that included Mark's boss, his parents, and a few close friends. The stream showed the clear footage with timestamps. At the same time, she triggered the house alarm system with a custom message. The AI voice assistant suddenly spoke loudly throughout every room. "Mark, your wife Sarah knows everything. This is being recorded and shared right now." The woman screamed. Mark panicked and tried to shut off the system, but Sarah had locked him out of the controls. He could not stop the cameras. He could not stop the notifications going out. Within minutes, his phone exploded with calls and texts. His boss saw the stream. His mother called crying. Friends who once respected him started messaging Sarah with support. Mark rushed out of the house, half-dressed. The woman left in tears. Sarah sat calmly and watched the chaos unfold. The next morning, she met Mark at their lawyer's office. She slid a thick folder across the table. It contained printed screenshots, video stills, AI-generated timeline reports, and bank statements. Everything was dated and organized. The divorce papers were already prepared. Mark begged. He cried. He said it was a mistake. He offered to go to counseling. Sarah looked him straight in the eyes and said nothing. She simply signed the papers and walked out. Because of the clear digital evidence, the divorce went fast and in her favor. She kept the house. She kept most of the savings. Mark lost his job after the company saw the footage. They could not risk the scandal. His reputation in their social circle was destroyed. Friends distanced themselves. Families stopped speaking to him the same way. Sarah did not stop there. She used the AI tools to create a short anonymous video summary of the evidence, blurred faces, but clear timeline. She posted it on a private support group for women who had been betrayed. The story spread quietly among people in their circles. Mark tried to rebuild. He moved to a small apartment. He started looking for new work. But every time he applied somewhere, the digital trail followed. Old colleagues remembered the scandal. The smart home evidence was too strong to ignore. Sarah, on the other hand, thrived. She redecorated the house exactly how she wanted. She grew her design business. She even started helping other women set up secure, smart home systems so they could protect themselves. 6 months later, Mark showed up at the house one evening. He looked broken. He begged for another chance. He said he had learned his lesson, and the loneliness was killing him. Sarah stood at the door with the security camera rolling. She smiled calmly and said, "The house remembers everything, Mark. And so do I." She closed the door. The AI assistant announced, "Door locked. Welcome home, Sarah." Mark walked away into the night, with nothing left but the weight of his own choices. Karma had been served, recorded in perfect, high definition, and delivered with cold precision. The smart home did not just catch the betrayal, it made sure justice could never be denied. Sarah slept peacefully that night, knowing the cameras were still watching over her new beginning.